I'm Benu Mayagri. I'm working as an executive director in Alliance Against Trafficking in Women and Children in Nepal. ATWIN is a national level alliance working against trafficking, having 37 member organizations at present from all over the Nepal. The network of civil society, you can say, civil society organizations. ATWIN is established in 1997, incident of rescue of a big number of girls from the Indian brothels from Mumbai. And then in 1910, about 20 years back, I think, when the girls were rescued, that time we have a trafficking act, human trafficking act, which is focused only on prostitution, and that is only for girls or cross-border trafficking. And ATWIN was advocated for bring the new act as per the provision of compensation, social protection provisions in the previous law. So we got the new Human Trafficking Act, which is known as Human Trafficking and Transportation Control Act 2007. Yes. It is more comprehensive than the previous one, so that we think that is that is more victim-centric or survivor-friendly. Even though it is still now it is not 100% perfect, but progressive than the previous one. So we think that is our one of the achievement. We think is for SARC is a South Asian regional cooperation body, and where we at present we have 8 countries from the South Asia. So that's why, as the trafficking is organized crime, and it is it can't addressed by or reduced by only one person, organization, agency or countries. So that's why we have advocated for the regional level cooperation or law to combat trafficking. Problem is that is only for prostitution, and still we are advocating it should be not only for prostitution. It should take the little more area like for trafficking for labor, like as we have among the South Asian countries, as a destination, as a transit country.
According to the United States, Nepal is a Tier 2 country, meaning that the government is doing somewhat progressive changes to their constitution, and also, trying to help combat the issue of human trafficking, but there's a lot more to do. In your perspective, dealing with your expertise with this organization, what do you think the government is lacking in combating this issue?
From one time in 2005 only we are in Tier 1, otherwise from the 2000 we are always in Tier 2. So we can't say the government is not doing anything, they are doing, and but more collectively and organized initiation is needed from the government agencies. Cross-border trafficking is not only big issues, there is the internal trafficking is also one of the big issues, like that, as I mentioned, using of children for labor, or their exploitation for labor, as well the exploitation of teenage adolescent and women in entertainment sector.
Yes.
And of course brick cleans. As well, we have heard so many issues of organ transplantation, illegal organ transplantation, especially for kidney. In Nepal, some villages have dominated this issue. Yeah. So not only cross-border trafficking, we have the problem of internet trafficking as well.
Okay, so can you explain a little bit what you explained earlier? The government doesn't take the victims to the private hospital, which is your hospital, they take them to a government hospital? Can you say?
Most of the victims seems to be from poor family, and they can't afford in the private hospital, so the victims are taken to government hospital.
Okay.
When the victims are recognized, the victims are mostly taken to the government hospital rather than the privates. Government have the facilities of doing any emergency procedures, where privates are not affiliation for that. There is a rape cases in the emergency or any in the ward, there will be the police case. If she needs any emergency operation during the night, in governmental hospital it will be possible, but in private hospital there won't be any operations, or either it may take long time so that the girl may die.
A human trafficker brings someone to a private hospital rather than the government hospital to avoid criminal charges or a police report. what happens then? Can you identify that? Can you convict that person? Can you capture them then?
They treat the patient according to the case. What
Okay.
type of case is the patient? They identify the case. Example, is she sexually abused, or that is child labor, or home labor, like domestic
Violence?
domestic violence. Accordingly, they treat the case.
According to your experience, what do you think is maybe needed for the government to do to take action? Like you said, there's training in the government hospitals, but there's no facility to keep the victims, right? Where else is the government lacking?
I think government is lacking in the coordination with the NGOs and INGOs. This should go accordingly combined with INGOs and NGOs. They should combine them, with other, coordinate with each other to support the victims.
Armed Police Force. APF.